Ahsoka episode 6 is right around the corner, and everybody keeps asking me to talk about the leaks. So that's what I'm gonna do in this video. So spoiler warning, although there's not a lot of clear leaks for this next episode, there's a lot of leaks just about the back half of the season. And so we're going to look at what different people are saying, and we're going to speculate on what could be happening in the episode. So nothing like truly big is being spoiled here, especially if you've been following along with the leaks and spoilers in the past. But I will say my speculation tends to be pretty good. So if you don't want to know anything that might happen in this next episode, get on out of here. And quickly, before we get into this, there are just a few days left in the Kickstarter campaign for my comic book Unity. And while we are funded, I still want to try to promote this thing right up to the last minute. This is your last chance to be one of the first people to read this new comic book and be a part of the process of bringing it to life. Okay, so there's basically two main sources of the leaks for the Ahsoka show. One is makingstarwars.net, and the other one is a Reddit user who seems to have gone silent because we're all on to them now. Everything they've been talking about is real. And that user is called Economics Legal 6989. And this is the person that essentially was one of the first people to talk about Marok being smoke. This was a person that was talking a lot about episodes 1, 2, and 3 of Ahsoka. And then all of a sudden we were like, whoa, this person got stuff right. And then we went back and found all these different things that they talked about. Now, the first bit of leaks for episode 6 that I want to talk about comes from that Reddit user, and they said Ahsoka's only in the first few minutes, and they kind of Book of Boba Fett her in episode 6. This very likely means that they're going to focus on completely different characters for the majority of episode 6, and there's some question on who these characters could be. I personally think it's going to be Ezra, Thrawn, and Baylan, and Shin, and Morgan. And this is partially because that same Reddit user did say that Thrawn is in episode 6, and there were reports from Making Star Wars that talked about how the Morgan character and the Shin character both have connections to this new galaxy. And with the two of them traveling in this new galaxy and kind of having this unspoken beef, that's pretty interesting. I wonder if they're both actually connected to the Night Sisters. That could be pretty cool. Now, according to the Reddit user, Enoch will appear in episode 6. This is the rumored bodyguard of Thrawn in golden armor with samurai vibes. And many people like myself have just assumed this is a lightsaber wielding person, but that's not exactly clear in the leaks. And the new Reddit user did suggest that this is going to be a Captain Phasma-like appearance in episode 6, so maybe we just see this cool new Enoch character, and there's nothing really explored further in the episode. Now, according to old leaks by this Reddit user, Ezra and Thrawn ghost each other, meaning they just separate and don't talk to each other at all anymore. And I remember Making Star Wars talking about this, that they have actually been separated for some time in the new galaxy. And according to Making Star Wars, Ezra is said to have a lot of screen time in these last 3 episodes, and that likely begins here in episode 6. Now, another thing that was in the leaks, and this comes from both Making Star Wars and the Reddit user, they talk about how an Andor-like Highlands vibe is going to be in the show, and Making Star Wars talked about how they actually did shoot in a location called the Nodian Highlands. And I believe both of them talked a lot about these rumors of Loth wolves being in the show. I think Jason has even said on a podcast that he knows for sure that Ahsoka is going to be riding a Loth wolf into combat, and this likely all takes place on this Highlands area, like whatever this planet is in this new galaxy. This is very likely to be a location where there's going to be these Loth wolves. Maybe that's where Ezra is at as well, and perhaps there will also be some kind of a big battle there when the new characters like Ahsoka and her droid show up into the new galaxy and perhaps meet up with Ezra on that planet. Now, there are a couple other things in the leaks that I want to talk about, but let's first speculate about what all of this could mean when we sort of put it together. I mean, first of all, the idea of doing a Book of Boba Fett really means the most of the episode is likely to focus on different characters. And I think considering that we haven't seen Ezra or Thrawn, I think you're going to get a lot of those characters in episode 6. But if I had to guess, I would say you're probably going to get more Ezra than even Thrawn. And I don't really know how this is going to fit together. It would appear that Thrawn is with the Chimera and his fleet and these Night Sisters. And I don't know how that ties into this grassy planet. But again, it seems like Ezra and Thrawn have separated for a long time. Ezra possibly on this grassy planet hanging out with these loft wolves and maybe some weird lobster people. And don't worry, we're going to talk about that. But maybe what we'll see is the Eye of Sion, Morgan, Balin, Shin, and of course Sabine come to where Thrawn is at, and perhaps Enoch and these other characters. Maybe Balin lets Sabine go, and Sabine then goes to where Ezra is at on that grassy planet. I'm not exactly sure, but that kind of seems like that could be the way it goes, because Sabine is promised by Balin to be sort of reunited with Ezra, or to be like put to where Ezra is at. So perhaps that's something that's going to happen in episode 6. And so I kind of see something like that happening, but my gut is telling me we're getting way more Ezra than Thrawn in episode 6, which takes me to that grassy planet, and my thinking that maybe he'll just be on that planet with the Loth Wolves doing something. Maybe it's even possible that this grassy planet is just where the Purgle come. Maybe this is the original world where the Night Sisters are as well. Like maybe Thrawn is on this planet as well. Maybe they're all on this planet. I'm not really sure, but my gut is telling me Thrawn is doing bigger things and Ezra is just there on that planet. And if there are Loth Wolves, that suggests a connection to the Force. Perhaps Ezra's there because of its connection to the Force. Maybe the Purgle always show up on this planet that Ezra is at, and maybe that's why he's even staying there, because he's waiting for the jump from either the Eye of Sion or from the Purgle, and he's waiting to see his friends, right? So the Eye of Sion's gonna land. Maybe Ezra will see that, but they'll be taken somewhere else, and then we just kind of follow Ezra as he's doing stuff and preparing, and then we get Ahsoka popping up with the Purgle at the end of episode 6. That would kind of make sense to me. Now, one of the things that's interesting that the Reddit user said was that we are going to get an expansion of what the Purgle are and the Purgle lore coming up soon in the show. And of course, I have this massive theory that the Purgle are actually Yuuzhan Vong scout ships, these organic ships that were created by the Yuuzhan Vong. And I've outlined that theory in a video, which I'll link in the description. It's really cool, and it could absolutely still be the case. But there are also other rumors out there that perhaps the Purgle are actually created by the Night Sisters, maybe even controlled by the Night Sisters, which would kind of explain why Morgan knows about them. She's on that planet of Seagal, and there are the Purgle on that star chart, so maybe it kind of ties into something like that. This episode is 46 minutes, and it's apparently really cool, but it is said by the Reddit user that episodes 7 and 8 are going to be the really action-packed ones, very likely to be a lot of big battles in episodes 7 and 8. And I think episode 6 is just, it's giving me the vibe, just with all these different leaks and rumors, that it's going to be sort of a slower, character-focused episode. I think it will show us Thrawn and Enoch and what's going on with those Night Sisters and the craziness there, but I think it's mostly going to focus on Ezra. Now, another really crazy aspect to these new leaks all has to do with this thing known as the Noti, okay? So you've seen people talking about this on social media, but this same Reddit user talked about how the Noti were going to break the internet in episode 6. And a lot of people are suggesting that this is actually alien people, these little lobster alien-like people that live on this planet, this grassy planet, which is perhaps where Ezra is at. And a lot of people first thought, oh, the Noti, like, what does that mean? Is it code for something? Is this the Rakatan, the Yuuzhan Vong? Like, what's happening here? That's absolutely nuts. But apparently it's more of a meme and more of a joke, and it's actually going to be just weird little lobster people, and they're maybe hilarious or really funny. Maybe that's why the Reddit user said that they're going to break the internet. We will have to see. It's also possible they have some kind of a connection to the Force, and maybe they're having conversations with Ezra about his destiny or something. I don't know, man. We're going to have to wait and see. But that's basically it, guys. That's all the leaks. That's all the rumors. That's my speculation on how it's all going to fit together. We will find out very soon. Episode 6 of Ahsoka coming out tomorrow night, depending on when you watch this video. I'm going to be doing a watch party. It's going to be really freaking cool. Hope to see you there. Again, you have just days left to get your copy of Unity. Help us out on the Kickstarter. There's all kinds of dope rewards and some really, really exclusive stuff for people that are helping us actually bring this thing to life. So go check out the Kickstarter. You just have a couple of days on that. Let me know what you think about all these leaks in the comment section below here. And as I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video.